Social justice is eradicating systems of oppression with the purpose of advancing fairness and equality through the redistribution and expansion of resources and opportunities and exalting human dignity and respect. Social justice means to me being radical at the core and unapologetically radical. It means being radical in thinking. It means being radical in imagining a different world, in envisioning and relationship, in creating spaces where you can have generative conflict and think through some really tough issues. Social justice means to me fairness and equity and thinking about systems and structures and institutions while not forgetting people and human beings and the personal and the interpersonal dynamics that we all engage in our day-to-day lives. Yeah. Social justice means to me using and deploying power in a way that it benefits the masses of people in society so that we all can live quality lives, we can all experience human dignity and respect, we can all feel like we're sharing our passions and our skills and our joys with others. And it also means doing the internal work. Social justice means doing the internal work that we all have to do because we're all works in progress. None of us are perfect. Sometimes we think we are, and sometimes we forget what we're doing, but we all are works in progress, and we all have to be introspective. And that's a critical aspect of social justice. So social justice movements in history have really transformed society in a lot of ways. I think the critical thing is to understand that even when we have social justice movements that transform society, whether it's getting rid of slavery as chattel slavery, whether it's getting rid of women's inability to vote or have reproductive power, whether it's workers having equal wages, that it's all a cycle. And so social justice movements have had great impact in changing society, but we always have to be engaged in the process of bringing to new life, new social justice movements, because there is no end. Social justice movements really show us that there are means to ends, and the ends become the next means to the next end. We have to be constantly vigilant about protecting the gains that we have made, and we have to be constantly vigilant about seeing the blind spots in the movements that we forged, right? So social justice movements like the civil rights movement and the Black Power movement and the women's rights movement and the gay lesbian movement, which is now bisexual transgender Q movement, right? These movements have actually opened up the space for people to voice, for people to vote, for people to be seen as human beings at its basic level. So you have movements, but you also have individual quotidian resistance, things people do every day, day in and day out to maintain their humanity and their dignity in their life and to have an impact on other individuals, right? You have folks who are trying to change cultural dynamics, political dynamics, electoral spaces, social spaces, right? And the key is how the personal is connected to the interpersonal, it's connected to the institution, it's connected to the system, it's connected to the structure, and recognizing those things in the way that we struggle against inequality and injustice. There is no Black person here who can afford to wait to be led into positive action for survival. Each one of us must look clearly and closely at the genuine particulars, conditions of his or her life and decide where action and energy is needed and where it can be effective. Change is the immediate responsibility of each of us, wherever and however we are standing, in whatever arena we choose. To refuse to participate in the shaping of our future is to give up. We can't do that. Each of us must find our work and do it. Militancy no longer means guns at high noon, if it ever did. It means actively working for change, sometimes in the absence of any surety that change is coming.